Well, Senator Rand Paul recovering after undergoing surgery to have a part of his lung removed, all due to complications from when he was attacked by his neighbor in 2017.
The surgery less than 2 weeks ago. Now he and his wife join us for their very first interview since the operation.
We'd like to say good morning to Senator Rand Paul and Kelly Paul joining us from the couch in their house. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
Good morning. Thanks for having us.
Good morning.
You bet. Senator, let's start with you. Tell us about the surgery. Why'd you have to have it done?
Well, you know, I'm kind of hoping I can get this behind me, but I'd been getting better for a long time, but I had worsening pulmonary symptoms, and then the x-rays and the CAT scan was showing that the damaged area of the lung was actually showing up in a larger fashion and growing. And the decision was made that the only way to get to the bottom of it, to see exactly what the problem was and to fix it, was to remove part of the lung. Fortunately, it was a chronic infection in a damaged part of the lung that wasn't getting air and wasn't getting good circulation. And so sometimes antibiotics just don't work for something like that. But my hope is that it's a cure now to have that part of the lung removed. And I'm about a week and a half out, and I'm getting a little stronger each day. I still feel like I've been in an auto wreck, but I'm getting better.
Wow. Kelly, sometimes they say it's harder on the caretaker. What has this been like for you? Because I know the neighbor attack 2 years ago. Y'all been going through this for a long time.
We have, and as Rand said, we really keep hoping to sort of put it behind us. It was very scary again for me to see Rand developing more symptoms this summer. So when the surgeon walked out and said that they were able to do a wedge resection, and after an hour and a half versus the longer surgery we were worried about, we were just really grateful that they think that he's going to be fine and he's going to be able to move on from this. But yeah, it's been really hard to see Rand struggle through this.
Senator, from this point forward, what does recovery look like?
Well, for me, it's trying to just overcome sort of the pain initially and then get my breathing back to normal. I'm a avid exerciser. I walk or ride a bike every day pretty much of the week in Washington and at home. And so I've begun walking some. I'm able to make it around the block. And I think it's just a matter of overcoming and getting beyond this. And we've been trying to do it for almost 2 years now. Yeah. But I guess one of the disturbing things, though, is to see that there's still so much hatred out there. We announced that I was having surgery, and thousands of people on Twitter are swarming to wish me, that I had either died or that someone would assault me again. And it's like I'm perplexed that this is somehow supposed to be a right-wing phenomenon, but I see thousands of people on Twitter, this left-wing mob, wishing that I were dead. And I'm like, who are these people?
Yeah. I know your neighbor who attacked you pleaded guilty to a federal charge of assaulting a member of Congress, sentenced to 30 days in prison, although the federal prosecutors are appealing that. He was ordered to 1 year of supervised release, $10,000 fine, 100 hours of community service. His attorney said that his client lost his temper over yard trimmings, but your office says essentially that he was very anti-Trump, did not like the president, so did not like you.
Well, and see, I think this is the narrative that the left is bringing to us. Everything is President Trump's fault, and so all the rhetoric, they say, oh, it's all violence and the whole world is President Trump's fault. And yet the man who attacked me was known on the internet. His social media postings were violent. He talked about doing violence to the president. So, yeah, that's completely ignored because the media wanted to develop a narrative. I mean, their whole narrative that it was an altercation or a fight. There was no fight. I had my back turned with noise cancellation headphones on, and I was attacked, and 6 of my ribs broken before I saw the attacker. In fact, I never saw the attacker till after the attack was over. And people want to make it out, oh, it was just this little dispute. But a lot of that came from the other side trying to get a lesser sentence, so they wanted to downplay what it was. And in reality, I think violence is complicated, and there are many reasons why people attack you, but ultimately, I was very severely injured. Yeah. I'm still suffering from it 2 years later.
Senator,
yeah, we were very disturbed by the fact that many in the media continue to just take his lawyer's word for it when the attacker admitted in court, and he's admitted multiple times, he hasn't spoken to Rand in over 10 years. We never had any dispute for them. I always waved when I saw him very occasionally in the neighborhood. So we had no idea that this person harbored any animus toward us at all.
Does he still live
animosity
next door?
Toward Rand or hatred. Pardon?
Does he still live next door?
No, he has sold his house and moved.
He was sentenced to 30 days in prison. And as I said, the federal prosecutors are appealing that. Senator, is 30 days in prison enough for assaulting a member of Congress?
Well, it's not enough for assaulting anyone.
Anybody.
And frankly, both Kelly and I think it should have probably just been tried here locally. I think in a local court where they're used to dealing with violent people, people often get several years in prison for this. Recently, a Democrat staffer broke into offices in the Senate, got my name, McConnell's name, and released it to the public and encouraged violence against us. So it had breaking and entering and encouraging violence, but didn't actually commit violence. I think he got 4 years in prison. So 30 days is kind of what you'd give a shoplifting person or a very, very minor crime. This judge was from out of state, and I think from the rumors around the courthouse had pre-decided this before she got here.
Senator Paul, you have a new book coming out. It's called The Case Against Socialism. It's available in October 15th to be exact. And in that book, you say socialism begets violence. What do you mean by that?
Well, Kelly and I have been working on this for about a year, The Case Against Socialism, and we think it's incredibly important because you have nearly 50% of America's youth now saying, well, socialism might be a good thing. You have over half of the Democrats saying it. Look, I grew up as a kid in the 70s, and the left was always saying they were trying to obscure the fact that they were socialists. They were embarrassed. They would never use the word. Now they're gleeful in saying that they're socialists. Right. So we wanted to point out the problems of socialism. So we've pointed out the problems in the 20th century, the genocides. But we've also pointed out how their nirvana, which is Sweden and Scandinavia, really isn't socialist and really is an example more of lower taxes and less regulation than anything else.
Well, we look forward to that coming out in October. Senator Kelly would like to know when you're going to go back to work.
Yeah, I've been telling people he's starting to get bored, so that's a good sign. So, yeah, he actually did go to a Chamber of Commerce yesterday. His surgeon said he can't fly for 3 weeks, but he's changed a lot of his in-state travel to driving, and he's coming back. So I'm really excited to see him feeling so much better.
I'm so sorry y'all had to go through
we have a great marriage.
Go ahead.
We have a great marriage, but we've been around each other 24 hours a day for the last 14 days. So we're both kind of looking for mixing it up a little bit, you know?
Okay. After 3 weeks, you can fly again. All right. Kelly and Rand Paul, thank you very much, and good luck.
Yes, good luck. We hope you feel better.
Thank you.